Yeah, it's like the Oprah Winfrey Show, ain't it? You're overrated. You're overrated. Everybody's overrated. I love this time of year. Clemson underrated? No. Clemson might be overrated. I don't even know what they are rated, but they're probably overrated. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, Garrett Riley is overrated. That's for sure. You don't have to tell Notre Dame fans that they're overrated. Just tell them that Miami's underrated and watch their head explode. What's A&M's best win? I don't know, but they don't have any losses, and it's week 13. So, I don't even know what the line on Clemson against Furman is. When we looked on Monday, I don't even think there was a line out for it. There might be one now. Let's look. But also, more importantly, if you guys want to call in, click that StreamYard link. It's posted in the chat. It's also in the description of the video. Of course, this is a call-in show. So without callers, there won't be any show. I'll go back to watching Netflix. It's pretty much that simple. But let's see if we can find... Let's see if we can find a line on Clemson here real quick while we're waiting here for the show to start. It comes on at a weird time. It comes on at like 4:30, I think. So there's the 3:30 games. Yeah, I don't even see a line for it. Now, I don't use this site when I bet. I use a different site, but it's not on there either. So, a lot of times they won't put lines out on some of these games like this against FCS teams because there's like 40, 50 point spreads, stuff like that. Clemson favored by 17.5. I don't even know where you're finding that at, but I believe you. They should cover that, yeah, but should and will are two different things.
Working across teams is tough, but
yes, it is.
Helps you handle it. That's because Nightbot's my buddy who posts stuff for me. I tell him what to post and he posts it for me. Yes. And make sure you hit the thumbs up. I really am sick of this new YouTube update where they put people's at instead of their YouTube name. I don't know why they decided to do that at all. Makes no sense to me. But as far as Nightbot goes, Nightbot is posting the StreamYard link in there. All you got to do is click that link and you can call and talk to me about college football. That's the only rule here.
You will not be on camera or anything like that. It'll just be your voice. It's so easy, even I can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I got to use Nightbot to post a link. I mean, I can do it too. Here, I'll watch. Watch how smart I am. Watch this. It's like fucking magic over here. See that? But in all seriousness, they need to make mental gymnastics an Olympic sport, because college football fans, once the CFP rankings come out, I mean, they would get the gold medal every year. Shit, Michael Phelps ain't got nothing on college football fans. College football fans would get 50 gold medals in the Olympics if mental gymnastics was a sport. Well, I've learned a lot in the past couple of weeks. Weeks 1 through 5 don't matter at all. Whatever you do from week 1 through 5 just doesn't matter. What happens head to head doesn't matter. Wins don't matter, which is crazy. Wins don't matter. Losses matter. Quality losses matter more than wins. Now wrap your fucking head around that one. Yeah. That's one way to fix it. Stop scheduling Notre Dame. But so here's a legitimate question. I don't think this is I'm not even trolling, okay? This is a legitimate question. If Southern Cal goes into Eugene this weekend and beats Oregon, they should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame then, right? I mean, because head-to-head doesn't matter. And, of course, Notre Dame beats Southern Cal. And having the same record and head-to-head doesn't matter. And Southern Cal would have a better win than Notre Dame's got. A road win at Oregon. So it only makes sense to me that by that criteria that Notre Dame fans are talking about and the committee's talking about, that Southern Cal should hop over Notre Dame, right? Yeah, Clemson scheduled Notre Dame through for 10 years. But if they go to a 9-game conference schedule, that might end. But as of right now, that's that's what it is. Yeah. I don't know if you know this or not, though. I don't make Clemson's schedule. Yeah, I have nothing to do with it at all. Nobody. Dabo didn't call me. Graham Neff didn't call me. Nobody called me. For some reason. Figure out why. All right, guys. The show starts here in just about a couple of seconds here. We'll get right to the phone calls because that's why everybody's here. Nobody is here to look at my ugly face or listen to me ramble on for 2 hours. I do know that much. At least I don't think they are. Hello, everybody. How you doing? I am your host, PigskinPeete. Welcome to the College Football Call-In Show. Thank you for being here. If you want to be a part of the show, make sure you click that StreamYard link. It's so easy. Even I can do it. Only rule we have on the call-in show is let's talk about college football. That's pretty much it. You want to call and tell me how great your team is, how much my team sucks, how much somebody else's team sucks, how you're going to win the next 500 games that you play, bitch about the playoff rankings. Any of that is fine with me. Actually, it's all fine with me. That's actually what I'm looking for here. But of course, I take these calls in the order they came in. So if I don't pick up your call first, I'll be with you shortly. I promise. What is up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, what's going on, Pete? How are you doing, sir?
Hello. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I've been a fan of your channel for a while. I really enjoy going into your live stream that you do on games. I really enjoy those.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I think the committee got it right. I think Notre Dame should be over Miami, definitely.
Why do you think that?
And well, you say that, head-to-head matters, and head-to-head absolutely does matter in this case. And I'll lay it out for you. When you look at it, Notre Dame has played 6 teams with a plus 500 record. They've gone 4-2 in those games. Miami has only played 2 teams with a plus 500 record. Those are what the committee calls quality wins. Miami has gone 2-2 in those games. Miami's played 4 teams with plus 500 record. They've gone 2-2 in those games. They've lost to 2 unranked teams. Notre Dame's strength of schedule is 33. Miami's is 46.
That's pretty close.
Of record, Notre Dame's 12. Miami's 16. Game control is actually a big mechanic that that committee uses. That is how dominant you are in your games, and it actually scales for the components you play. So it actually, if you play good teams or bad teams, it actually scales that. So in terms of game control, Notre Dame is ranked 5th in the country in game control. Miami's 9th. Every metric that you use. And so, Pete, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it as honestly. If you take if Miami still has those 2 losses to Louisville and Virginia, to Louisville and SMU, and you take the Notre Dame win away, where would Miami be ranked right now?
If you took the Notre Dame, but they did play Notre Dame and they beat them.
Yeah. But I'm making the case that head-to-head it matters.
But that's the most important metric. So what you mentioned strength of schedule and strength of record, which are both very close by both of those 2 schools, and the only metric that really matters is the fact that they played each other, and they have the same record.
That's not the only metric that matters.
It's the most important metric.
That plays a part in it. Plays a part in it. What I laid out for you. So what the committee calls quality wins is teams that you've beaten that are at a plus 500 record, right? Notre Dame has played 6 of those teams. They're 4-2 in those games. Miami has played 4 and they're 2-2 in those games. They've lost to 2 unranked teams. That matters.
Okay.
It matters who you lost to as well.
But there's a hierarchy of what matters. Okay. So first thing you want to go is with record. Okay, so they have the same record. The very next metric after that, before you get to strength of schedule, record, quality losses, or whatever the verbiage they want to use is head-to-head. That's the next one. And here's the thing. I'm not saying, and I never have said, that Notre Dame is not a top 10 team. All I'm saying is if you're going to have Notre Dame in the top 10, you better have Miami there too.
No, it's the reason that Miami beat Notre Dame is the only reason they're ranked 13th instead of 20. Because given the resume that Miami has, the only reason they're ranked as high as they are right now because of the bad losses.
So answer the question. So answer the question I asked at the beginning of the show. Then, if Southern Cal beats Oregon this week, should they jump Notre Dame?
Yeah, they could.
Should they?
Based on the metrics that the committee uses, they count all this stuff. They do game control mechanics. Notre Dame ranks really high on that. That's why.
They do all. Again, you see the title of this video is the mental gymnastics. They do a lot of mental gymnastics. The only thing they don't look at is the fact that 2 teams played each other, and they go, "Well, that was week 1." As if. Here's the other problem. As if
the case that I'm making to you is that the head-to-head they have with Notre Dame matters. That's the reason they're ranked 13th and not 20.
Well, they should be ranked ahead of them
of their resume. So that goes me back to the question that I asked you. If you say they didn't play Notre Dame and they had the 2 losses that they have now, Without that win,
But they
against Notre
do.
Dame, where
But
would
they did.
Miami
But they
be
did
ranked?
play Notre
Where
Dame.
would
I
they
don't.
be
I don't.
ranked?
This hypothetical
I know
thing
you're
where they
gonna
didn't.
dodge the question. I understand that you.
I'm
wanna
not
dodge that
dodging the question. You're doing hypothetical situations that don't matter. They did play each other, and you fucking lost. That's what happened. We all saw it. So it doesn't matter where they would be if they didn't beat them. That doesn't matter at all.
But Pete, is the thing is you're not understanding the.
I understand. I don't agree with it.
Beat Notre Dame is why their ranks is where they are. Beating the win they have against Notre Dame is why they're 13th instead of 20. That's the point I'm making. Because of their resume is not very good.
Well, then by the way, guess what?
Two teams
Under that line of thinking, then Notre Dame's worse than we thought because they lost to a bad Miami team. So they should be lower than they shouldn't be in the top 10.
Yeah, it absolutely matters. That's why Notre Dame is ranked 9th and not in the top 5. I agree. You're making sense, Pete.
I said not in the top 10.
100%.
And if Southern Cal beats, so I'm sure you'll call it. If Southern Cal beats Oregon, you'll call in next week and let me know that Southern Cal should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame, right?
Pete, I really just want you to just honestly answer it though.
I'm not answering a hypothetical question.
The 2 losses they have without that.
I'm not answering a hypothetical question. I'm answering questions that are a reality of what really happened.
Of course, you don't want to answer it
because it doesn't mean anything.
Whole argument. It does.
Hypothetical. No.
Because without that win, Miami would be ranked 20.
Without that win, yeah. All right. Well, if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. What the fuck has that got to do with anything?
Because you said at the top of your show that these head-to-heads don't matter. It matters a lot. That's why Miami is ranked where they are with their crap resume.
No, they don't matter.
That's the case I'm making.
Games in the beginning of the season don't matter as much as they do at the end of the season. Head-to-heads don't matter.
Yeah, it matters. That's why Miami's 13th is because they have a win against the top 10 teams. That's why they're 13th instead of 20 with their resume. They've only beaten 2 teams with above 500 record.
That's great.
They've only played 4.
So again,
they're 500 in those games.
Like I said, next week if Southern Cal beats Oregon, I need you to call in and tell us that Southern Cal should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame.
I'd have to look at the numbers.
You got to look at the chart.
The committee.
Look at the chart.
Head to head is not the only thing the committee looks at.
I know they
There's
look at the chart.
Body of work that they look at.
This is the dumbest sport on earth. It's the only sport in the entire world where you've got a fucking chart with just spouting off all the bullshit you're talking about instead of actually winning on the field. That's the only sport that we do this in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're really not contending with the argument though.
Yeah, I am.
Head to head absolutely does matter, and that's why Miami
it doesn't.
Where they are with their resume. Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
That's what you can see.
You're trying to convince me that Notre Dame's got some kind of fucking world. Notre Dame's got some kind of world beater schedule. Is that what you're trying to do?
Okay. Say instead of them playing Notre Dame and beating them, say they played. I'll grant it. Georgia Tech. Say they played Georgia Tech instead and they beat them. Would Miami be ranked high? So they start 8-2 with the same 2 losses. Would they be ranked higher or lower?
I have no idea. You've got the committee figured out. I think I don't. You're the one that's got the committee figured out. I don't have it figured out. So you tell me where they're going to be ranked.
Dishonest. You know that they would be ranked.
Is there any? Let me ask you a question. Is there any?
Admit it because that would be.
Is there any other teams? I don't have a narrative. I'm not a Miami fan. I don't give a fuck about Miami. I thought it was a travesty in college football whenever Florida State got left out a couple of years ago, and people were like, "Oh, look what happened! He lost 63-3 to Georgia." That doesn't fucking matter to me. You earn your way to your ranking through wins. Exactly. But all we hear from the committee is lost this, lost that. They lost this game. They lost. They don't tell you about who they beat. They only tell you about who they lost to. But anyway, thank you for the call. Hey, I do want you to call back next week, though, if Southern Cal wins, so you can tell me why they should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. All right.
Well, thanks for letting me on, Pete. I am a fan of your show, but thanks for letting me on, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you. What's up? You're on with Pete.
What's funny is that same guy is going to call you back in 3 weeks after the final playoff rankings are released, and Miami has won their last 2 games, and they're 10-2, and Notre Dame is 10-2, and Miami is ranked ahead of Notre Dame. Miami will be 11, Notre Dame will be 12, and then Notre Dame will get bumped out for the Group of 5 team that gets the automatic bid. That guy's going to call you back and tell you how stupid the committee is. And
Yeah.
After singing their praises today, everything he said is right. Like, the committee does take all of those additional metrics into account, but the problem is the reason those metrics were invented is so that people could rank teams when they had the same record, but you didn't see them play.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you know who should be higher between Ohio State and Indiana right now? They haven't played. You don't know who's better. Okay, what's their strength of schedule? What's their strength of record? What's their game control matrix or whatever? That's how the committee should determine who gets ranked higher between Ohio State and Indiana, because they've got the same record and they haven't played. Or Georgia at 9-1 and Oregon at 9-1. Who should be ranked higher? They haven't played each other. So you have to make up all these other metrics: strength of record, strength of schedule, game control. When 2 teams play, you don't have to make up other explanations to try to determine who's better. You literally know who's better.
Yeah.
You saw them play. That's the problem.
So again, that's what I said, is that should be the first metric, is head to head, and then you start going to all that other shit.
Right.
But then,
or if Miami loses a 3rd game, then you say, okay, well, they've now got more losses.
Yeah.
So, we can put Notre Dame 5 spots ahead of them, or whatever it is. But if 2 teams have the same record and they've played, the team that won the game should be ranked higher. I mean, that's just, nobody on the planet ranked Georgia ahead of Alabama until Bama took a 2nd loss, because we saw Georgia and Bama play. They both had the same record. So Bama was 1 spot ahead of Georgia every single week for 7 weeks in a row until Bama took an additional loss. Why didn't somebody rank Georgia ahead of Bama 3 weeks ago? Because they had the same record and Bama beat them.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that.
It doesn't make any sense. It's insanity. And as far as him saying that's why Miami's 13, because they beat Notre Dame. Great. Then Notre Dame should be 14.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing too, is that when I talk about mental gymnastics, then they go, oh well, Notre Dame's looked really good the past month. Miami hasn't looked that great the past month. Well, okay, but there's only 12 games in the season. Every game matters as much as the next one. I don't want to hear about the first half of the season doesn't matter. If you lose
talking about, well, they lost to a bad team. Well, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last year. I didn't hear that guy on the phone going, Notre Dame probably shouldn't get in because they lost to a bad Northern Illinois team.
Right.
But now it's shoes on the other foot. And then he goes, well, the only reason if Miami wouldn't have played Notre Dame, it wouldn't have beat Notre Dame, they wouldn't be ranked 13. Where would Notre Dame be ranked if they didn't play Southern Cal?
Right.
I mean, just saying, what if this didn't happen, or what if that?
That's why I refuse to answer what if questions. I'm talking about what actually happened, not what if. I don't need what ifs. I saw what happened.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I do respect the guy for calling in, though, because most of these people don't want to call in and talk to you. They just want to argue with you on Twitter, and I don't have the patience for arguing with people over text. I'd rather argue with them in person.
I don't blame a Notre Dame fan for making the case for Notre Dame, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not really wrong in what he's saying, because he's saying what the committee is saying. I think my point, and I think your point too, is that we just disagree with what the committee's doing.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
We don't understand what he's making it out like we don't, or you don't understand. Yeah, I understand what the committee's doing. I just think they're wrong.
Here's the other thing too. If you've got to pull out your Georgia Tech Rec Talk TI-83 calculator to tell me why you're ranked where you are, I don't want to hear it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry when it comes to certain things. Now, again, once you get down, like you said, to all these different tiebreakers, and you're trying to determine who should be ranked higher than another, but you don't need it in this case. Not the Notre Dame and Miami case. You don't need it.
Yeah. When 2 teams have played, you don't need some computer algorithm to help you figure out who should be ranked.
Yeah, he's got a fucking spreadsheet over there.
Record, and one team won the game. I mean, it's common sense. Anyway, Great show. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you later.
Rec Talk, you're on deck, but this guy's been waiting. What's up? You're on Pete. That's you, buddy.
Dang, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Or can I hear you?
What's up, man?
Hold on. I'm gonna have to get out and get back in. I can't hear you, man.
All right, thank you.
I don't know.
What's up? You're on Pete.
Can you hear me?
You can hear me now?
I can hear.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, dude, I had to call in when I ran into the middle of that. And my question would be, why are they ranked so much higher than Vanderbilt, too? Because Vanderbilt's the same thing. They're sitting on 2 losses again, but they're quality losses. But Vanderbilt's what, 14th right now?
Let's look at it here. I got it pulled up here. Yes. Let's look at it. Yeah, so Vanderbilt's sitting there at 14, Miami at 13, and Southern Cal at 15, which is interesting because that's a team that Notre Dame played and beat, who also plays number 7 Oregon on the road this week.
So Vandy's lost to Bama and Texas.
Yeah.
And then I guess their best win is Missouri.
Those are all ranked teams.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I guess let me ask you this. How is this playoff committee thing any different than the BCS?
Well, it's because you just have a bunch of jabronis sitting in a room voting on who should be ranked where, as opposed to just plugging it into a computer system.
So the only difference is people are crunching numbers instead of a computer, but you have the same we don't really know why thing.
Yeah, but see, here's the I'm glad you brought that up because it's not really just a bunch of people sitting in a room crunching numbers. I guess like the first caller said, here's what they do. They use some of these metrics to justify where they rank them, but that's not why they're picking them where they're ranking them. Does that make sense?
It does. I tell you what it's like. This is what the committee does. And this is an awful comparison, admittedly. And you might kick me off your stream for making it. It's kind of like when people make religious arguments and they come up with a conclusion and then they look for the evidence to fit that. And they're like, see, here's the evidence. That's kind of what the playoff committee does with justifying whatever teams they put in. I don't know if you've seen this quote from someone on the committee about Oregon's win over Penn State. They're holding that in high regard. And they say Oregon had a really big win at Iowa 2 weeks ago. Iowa was ranked in the top 25 previously. They won at Penn State. I know Penn State is not the same team we expected them to be this year. Still very challenging place to play. So they're basically giving Oregon credit for beating Penn State with the perception that Penn State had at the time.
Right. But the other teams don't get that same. In other words, Miami loses a close game on the road at SMU. SMU, of course, was ranked. Now they're not. And so when I say Miami should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame or right there with them, the Notre Dame fans go, well, they lost to SMU. They're 2 unranked losses. Well, but you give the benefit of the doubt to Oregon, but not to Miami at SMU.
Right. This is the big problem is there's no consistency with even the logic they apply.
It's different every week.
It's different every week, and it's obvious that they're just pulling this kind of out of their asses.
Yeah, from week to week, it's a different story. I mean, you remember when they said that Georgia Tech, when after that first loss, they got dominated on both sides of the ball. That's why they dropped them so low in the rankings. Meanwhile, they had like 700 yards of offense or something. Haynes King had like his career day, the 550 yards of Haynes King alone.
It's the most yards any Georgia Tech player's ever had in a single game.
Like, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
I just don't. It changes every year. And so, I mean, all the conspiracy theorists about, well, they're biased towards this conference or that conference. I don't know if that's true necessarily, but I do think that they are somewhat biased towards individual teams. I don't really know if it has anything to do with conference. And I think that, obviously it doesn't with Notre Dame. They're not in a conference. But I do think they're getting a big look. They're being set up right now. They're moving up every week, and they're being set up to where they're going to get in the playoffs as long as they win these last 2 games against fucking Syracuse and who's the other one? 2 bad teams.
Stanford, and Syracuse. Not only two of the worst teams in the ACC, two of the worst teams in college football right now.
Yeah, but they won't drop down. I guess there's a scenario where they could get jumped, but I don't know. And look, and here's the other thing, and I told the first guy this. I am not saying that Notre Dame is not a top 12 team. Those words have never come out of my mouth. My gripe is where they're ranked versus where Miami's ranked. That's all.
Yeah.
So if the committee believes that Notre Dame is a top 10 team, then Miami should be too. That's all I'm saying. But if they don't, then Notre Dame should be back there with Miami, ranked 14th.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, is just the the gap in between where they're ranked. They should be together wherever they are, right?
Yeah.
And they're not. And there's not a good explanation for it.
There's not a good explanation for it at all.
No.
And, the unfortunate thing is when they start talking about, well, week one, this, it doesn't matter as much in week one as it does in week 12. That's bullshit, first of all. But just the implementation of the 14 playoff and then the expansion to the 12-team playoff, and where it's probably going to go even further than that, to 16 at least, that already diminished the regular season and the conference championship games to a certain degree, and the bowl games, right? And now if you're saying that what happens in week 1 and week 2 doesn't matter either, now you're diminishing even more of the regular season.
Well, it works against their own interest. If you're ESPN, Major League Baseball, NBA, their viewership is way down, right? Way down. What do they both have? Massive playoff postseasons. So no one watches the regular season because there's no point to doing that.
Yeah.
So you're going to, it's going to diminish regular season games. It might hurt viewership in some way too.
Yeah, it might. Now, the NFL is an outlier in that because they expanded their playoffs a couple of years ago to where, essentially, I think half of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs now. And but they still have the most viewership of any sport in the country. But also what they have going on is not subjective at all. It's all based on numbers. It's all based on your division, your conference, and your record, and you get the wild card or whatever. That's it. There's no. Well, the Falcons are really better than the Chargers, but the Chargers beat the Falcons back in week 2, and the Chargers lost to Seahawks, and the Seahawks are no good. But what?
Yeah, it's clear cut. Even with like the tiebreak rules, at least I can calculate that, and we can all come to the same answer. That's pivotally important. Can we all look at the way it's supposed to be, and can we all come up with the same answer? We all literally come up with different answers in this, and it doesn't have to be that way. We've chosen for it to be this way. Why do you think that it is this way?
I don't know. That's a good question, because they had a prime opportunity whenever they made the college football playoff to structure it to where, and they kind of did, right? They did the 5, but instead of just saying the 5 conference champions, it did the 5 highest ranked conference champions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In a perfect world, I don't care how bad people think the ACC is, or on any given year, whatever the conference that year, the Big 12 or whoever's considered to be the worst conference that year. If you're going to have what you call a power conference, there needs to be at least one team in that league that is guaranteed a spot to represent in the playoffs. I don't care if they're 6-6.
Yeah,
I don't care.
NFL, we don't say, well, the NFC South is weak, so they're going to get left out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no NFC. Hey, the NFC East is the best division in all of football. So let's just give all 4 of the teams in the East. Forget what their record is and who they played. We'll just let them all get in there because we think they're better than. And the NFC South can just sit home and watch everybody else play because we think that they suck.
That's the other thing with the excuse we're talking about with, oh, well, we don't care about early loss, or early losses are just not counted the same as taking a late loss. And it's like, well, and the excuse is, well, that they obviously got much better. Okay, so you're punishing another team for being better prepared early. You're rewarding them for not being better early when they should have been. Like, what is the rationale with that?
Yeah, they are rewarding people for losing early in the season because it was early in the season.
And I've seen this. Isn't just the committee doing this. I see this on Twitter all day. They go, well, Notre Dame lost back on August 31st. Miami lost on September 30th. It's like, what? What's that got to do with anything? What's that? You're literally naming the dates.
That's what you're not considering. What if they didn't? Though?
Yeah, that's what I got to do. Well, what if they didn't? But they did. Imagine
pig flew out of my ass.
Imagine your wife catches you cheating on her, and she's like, you cheated on me. You fucked this girl. But what if I didn't?
Oh my God, dude, that's genius. Do divorce proceedings like the college football playoff committee.
Your Honor, I know I'm being accused of cheating, but what if I didn't?
Yeah, I cheated way early in our marriage, so that's not as bad.
Yeah, it was our honeymoon, man. I mean, we were even barely married.
We were engaged when I fucked her sister. Like, whatever. It's not that big a deal. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I love this time of year because it's just people will bend over backwards, and I that's part of the reason I love the sport of college football is because people will bend over backwards to like justify why their team should be in, and we see this every year. And we're going to continue to see it. I don't care if there's 16 teams, 24 teams, or 64 teams in the playoffs. There's always going to be somebody out there trying to justify for their team why they should be in there. And believe me, I get it. I'm a fan too. But at some point, you have to look at reality and get out of your own head. And, what you want, you're not always going to get. When Georgia got left out of the playoffs a few years ago, I didn't see the Georgia fans, well, some of them.
Some of them were, but most
some of them were, but most of them, yeah, most of them weren't crying in their Cheerios all over the internet about being left out of the playoffs, and they probably were one of the best teams in the country at that time. So,
yeah, I mean, to bring it full circle, like of just how we do these mental gymnastics. Do you know what fan base hates me the most right now?
Probably Georgia Tech.
It's Georgia Tech fans by a mile.
Yeah,
by a mile. I got another email today of someone calling me a dumbass for not having Georgia Tech in my power rankings as an ACC contender. And I'm like, again, what is the litmus test in college football? What you do on the field. We've given up 1,120 yards of offense and 82 points in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why would I think that we're going to win against Pitt? All the people that think Georgia Tech's going to beat Pitt, and I hope we do, you cannot point to a football reason as to why. You can't do it. It's ACC huddle, we're not or all these other things. But the litmus test tells you you're going to have an issue in Atlanta.
Yeah, you gave up 34 points coming off of a bye to probably the worst team in all of the Power Four. Yeah, it was not good.
I almost forgot about that, but yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Man, I'll get off here. I appreciate it.
All right, see you later, Rick.
See it.
Yeah. What's up? You're on with Pete. Round 2 for you, buddy. You ready? You get your audio situation worked out? You there, buddy? Well, you hear him in the background. He's talking to somebody. Let's see if he realizes what's going on here. What you doing, man? Hey, will you grab me a soda while you're up? I'm thirsty. All right. What's up? You're on with Pete.
How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. I actually just finished listening to the segment you and Rec Talk just had. I'm one of the few Tech fans that actually kind of agrees with what he's saying, although I'm one of the few that thinks we're going to actually beat Pitt by more than people think.
Oh, yeah?
I got us winning that game 34-24.
What is the spread on that? I guess I can look it up.
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
And Tech is favored?
Yeah, just home field usually.
Yeah.
It would be neutral side would be pick 'em.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna stay away from that one.
The whole playoff thing, though, is just it's so screwed up in so many different ways. Because this is one thing, though. I'm not too keen on like comparing NFL and college, but one thing that you can give the NFL credit is no matter how bad a team is, you have set ways to get them in the playoffs. That use no human intervention. I think that's the biggest problem is you have human intervention with all the rankings and all this.
Yeah. And there's too many metrics. I mean, it's like the first caller he was naming off all these metrics: strength of schedule, point differential, all this other stuff. Like that's the only sport we do this in. There's no other sport that does that.
No, like I said,
so it's like if you ever had like a political argument with somebody before, which most people probably have at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Like if you're like even know enough about the subject, no matter what your argument is, you can like bend it in your favor based on using statistics or something like that.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if you're halfway smart, you can win an argument even if you're wrong. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Believe me, I've been doing that my whole. You know how wrong I am all the time. I win a lot of arguments, even though I'm wrong, because I can bend the facts in my favor, and that's what the committee's doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's my wife.
Still, one thing always irritates me though, and like I said, it's just one of those little nitpicky things. Is Heather Dinich whenever she came on after I think the first or second rankings. It's just point attack. It's like, well, the committee was well aware of a favorable call that they got against Wake Forest, and that ticks me off more than anything. Because even though it's against Georgia last year, my point is, to that extent, is you put yourself in that position.
Well, don't
do that.
Yeah, and also I don't think the committee should be taking into favor individual calls in individual games. That's crazy.
Like,
the refs are there to do that.
Like, there's so many other games you could point to. Like, look, I hate Georgia, but, like, even the Auburn-Georgia game, there were so many calls in that game that you could just point to that and look at that. Like, you can look at that. Same thing Oklahoma and Auburn. Like, I hate that. I hate that they even mention that.
The Biscuit says you can't help that with 136 teams. Well, yeah, you can. You can have 6 conferences or whatever and have 16 playoff. And whoever wins each conference, one person from each conference plays in the playoffs. There you go.
No.
I mean, there's other ways to do it. It's never, and it's never going to be perfect. I'm not saying that it's going to be.
No.
But there's certainly some things that they could do to improve the current situation.
I'm one that my dad explained it to me a while back, and he's right. At least to me, he is. I mean, I'm not going to argue with him because hell, he taught me all I know about football, so I can't argue that much. But he pointed to it like how it used to be before they had the conference championship games. What you almost could do is just take the teams that will play in the conference championship and guarantee their spots with like a 12-team or 16-team.
The first thing and the most glaring thing that they could do to fix one of the things that's broken about the playoffs is eliminate the group of 5 from it completely. Let them have their own playoff like the FCS does. That's number one. That's probably the most important thing.
No,
because Tulane's a great story. James Madison's a great story. Whatever team gets in there is going to be a great story from the group of 5. That's amazing that they have such great years. Whatever team they play in the first round of the playoffs, they're going to get beat by. It's just what's going to happen.
Very few exceptions.
What you've got is somebody like Notre Dame or Miami or somebody that would beat the shit out of one of these teams if they played on a neutral field in a playoff situation, getting left out just because they have to put a group of 5 team in there. That's just stupid. That's the only really like. If they could change something tomorrow, it should be that. And also, as a college football fan, how fun would it be to watch the group of 5s have their own playoffs? We get 2 playoffs then. We get to sit.
No, I agree.
We get to sit back and watch the Group of Five play it out in the playoffs, and then we get to sit back and watch the Power Four play it out in the playoffs, and it would be like 2 back-to-back playoffs, and they could even overlap with each other a little bit if you wanted to, but that would just make the postseason in college football so much more interesting if they had their own.
No, absolutely. I don't disagree at all with that. Like, the only thing I think that people would bring up is, like, yeah, you could point at, like, teams like Boise. Boise State's one of those that they do have great years sometimes where it's like, I almost feel kind of bad. I understand that, I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing, but it's like there are some years where there are some Group of Five teams that you could put them against some teams, and it may actually be interesting.
Yeah, maybe in a 1-game situation, but not in a 12 or 16 team playoff where they have to win multiple games against the best in the Power Four.
That's where I think it gets a bit overdone. And really, I thought Boise should have beat Penn State last year.
And you're kind of doing a disservice to the players. I mean, don't you think the players would want to compete for a national championship, even if it's a Group of Five national championship? They can hang banners and get rings. You throw them into the 12-team playoff, and the chances that they win are less than 1%. But they might win if they played in their own playoff.
No, absolutely. That would make it definitely more interesting. I mean, then I think you really could have like a Group of Five ranking on its own, separate. Like the FCS has its own ranking. Have like a Group of Five ranking, almost.
I see what you're saying. I guess I don't really have a problem with the Group of Five being ranked with the Power Four, but I just think they should have their own playoffs. You can do both.
I guess you could, yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, the only thing I think that people would, I don't say people, fans, I don't think would mind it at all. I think it'd just be the TV contracts is where that would all go down south.
Well,
truthfully, you'd get more TV revenue.
Yeah, I was about to say they could have their own TV contract and make even more money for their schools, all of their schools instead of just one of them. Yeah.
It's ironic that college football fans know how to make the sport a little bit better, yet they don't listen.
No. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my. Well, I appreciate you letting me on, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you. Talk to you next time.
Go Jackets and beat Pitt's ass.
There you go. My man says, go Jackets and beat Pitt's ass. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Bro, I have no idea. I can't hear you, man.
You can't hear me?
Why can I not?
Bro doesn't know how to use StreamYard, I guess. What's up? You're on with Pete.
I'm going to have to put up a tutorial because I'm an old man and I know you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Loud and clear.
What is up with this?
Well, I can hear him. He just said he can't hear me.
Can't hear you. I hear you just fine, Pete.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Okay,
how you doing?
You earlier you said the fix is to get the Group of Five in. I'm going to tell you, I fixed this whole thing back in the Saban era, back when I used to use Twitter. Is one, somebody in the ACC, maybe some kind of commissioner or something, needs to go to South Bend and say, you're either in or you're all the way the fuck out.
Okay.
Join the conference or join a conference, because Notre Dame gets an outsized benefit because they get to represent, their AD gets to represent Notre Dame as though it's a conference. Everybody else is representing 18 other teams.
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous. And Notre Dame gets the benefit of the doubt, hence the caller who is, he's perfect for the CFP committee because he'll look at all those garbage stats that don't matter except for the one that does. You played each other.
Yeah. Right.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
This is not political talk here. This team won, this team lost. Yes, it was week one. That does not matter.
No, it does though.
Miami played Notre Dame Thanksgiving weekend, that it would matter more. because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like
well, that's what they're but that's what they're saying. Now I don't agree with it, but that's what they're saying. It's insane.
I just can't get past that, and I'm like, okay, the cure for the college football playoff. I mean, part of it is college football playoff and ESPN. They're all getting what they want because we're sitting here talking about it on the internet.
Yeah,
and every other sports talk show is talking about it on the internet.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
Notre Dame is above Miami because they're not in it to fix it; they're in it to make money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Clicks and eyeballs make money.
I would be on here talking about it if it was still the BCS system, though, just because I'm a college football junkie. You know what I mean? And so would you.
Absolutely.
But I understand what you're saying. I mean, people like to argue, and the more controversy you can throw in there, the more clicks you're going to get, and the more money you're going to make if you're a network or a podcaster or whatever. So. Yeah, that there's definitely. I don't think they mind people arguing over it. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, we're going to argue, but the realities are, head to head, should be 90% of it. If you in
should
a
be all of it.
Situation where you've only got 12 games, it needs to be 90% of it. Now the other fix is, everybody's now talking about how they're going to 9 games. Screw 9 games. Go to 10 games, and your other 2 games have to be Power 4.
Well, in a perfect world, yeah.
You're right. I know it's not.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'm sure I'm not going to live to see it, but here's the deal. Like, I'm not an NFL fan. But the fact of the matter is, they play 16 games. You know what happens?
17 now.
They play. It was 17 games.
Yeah.
So they get to see a wider variety of their opponents. You can't have an 18-team conference or a 17-team conference and only have 8, even 9 games. You don't need, apologies to any Furman fans that might be out there, you don't need to be playing Furman, the Citadel, SC State, or whoever the hell else they dream up. Because it's like, well, we need to support those programs. It's not your job.
Well,
financially support those programs.
I have an answer to that because I've been talking about this for years. If it's all about the money and supporting some of these smaller universities in your state, like Clemson likes to play like teams in the state of South Carolina, right? Citadel, Furman, South Carolina State, stuff like that. If it's all about the money, let these big universities in every state pool money together and just donate it to them. You don't have to actually play the game because nobody's watching it. I mean, I'll probably watch the first half of the Clemson game because it's Clemson, but when they're up 40-0, I'm going to lose interest in the game. It's like nobody wants to see that. So you don't actually have to play the actual game. You can just donate the money to them. And that way they get their money and we get to watch football games that we actually want to watch.
I agree with that. I had a suggestion a couple of years back to say, hey, ESPN is now starting to televise these games. Play your FCS game as your spring game. You can charge more for it because it's like a real game.
That's what Dabo's been talking about for a while. I actually agree with him on that.
As much as he has irritated me in the last couple of years, he's spot on that.
Yeah,
And
instead of having a spring game, let's play an actual game against somebody like a an FCS or a Group of 5 team. And it doesn't count towards your record, officially, but at least you get to like a real game instead of whatever the spring games are. I go to the spring game every year, and it's a social event. It's a practice where you get to go watch them practice. That's all it is.
That's exactly what
That's all it is. Yeah.
Well, I'm so old that they'd have that practice, and then they sold all the old merch under the stands.
Yeah, and I like going to the spring game. It's fun, but I don't expect to go out there and watch a good football game. It's not what it is.
No. I have to agree. I just think that this system it's better than what we had, where you didn't have any playoff. That's certainly an improvement. I think getting to 16 teams, if you can get to 16 teams and convince Notre Dame, hashtag stop scheduling Notre Dame. If conferences stop scheduling them for football, they won't have a choice.
Well, that's the answer. And that's kind of what I mean. They were essentially forced to join conferences in every other sport because they had to. Their hand was forced in it. But I mean, look, Clemson's one of them. We're scheduling Notre Dame. I mean, the ACC is a big culprit in this, right? Because we've allowed Notre Dame to basically play an ACC schedule but not be in the ACC. And then, of course, you got Clemson goes out there and schedules 10 years in advance with them through to what, 2035, I think, starting next year.
Oh, yeah, that'll never.
Or 2036.
The TV contract, even that expires around that same time. And I just don't see that. I think that there's Nick Saban said it years ago. He said that the Power Five, because it was Power Five at the time, Power Five should only play the Power Five, and that the lower divisions, I'm paraphrasing him, should have their own playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is not new. And scheduling needs to come out of the hands of all of these athletic directors. I look at this and go, yeah, I think Saban is, as much as he wouldn't want to do it, somebody needs to just draft this man and say, you are now the commissioner of college football.
Yeah, we need that. We need that. We also need somebody that leads the playoff committee too. I talked about this last week. I think it was Mac Brown. Somebody like Mac Brown that signs a 5 or 10 year contract. I know he's old, but whatever. To be the commissioner of the college football playoff committee instead of whoever this jackass we got in there now is.
Yes.
Somebody
we need a real football.
Yeah, a real football guy who doesn't really have a skin in the fight. He just knows. He's a pro. Mac Brown's a pro, or somebody like him. I'm using Mac Brown as an example.
Sure, there's probably a number of examples to say, when somebody comes in with this, well, Notre Dame should be ranked ahead. He'll be the first person that goes, they played each other.
Yeah, right.
Common sense. It's like a superpower. Well, I appreciate your time. I just wanted to get on here and say, stop scheduling Notre Dame. Shake the money tree, and they'll eventually have to cave.
Unfortunately,
they is looking to get out of it. They're not looking to schedule them anymore because now they have to deal with their 9-game Big Ten conference schedule.
I agree. I just don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, not anytime soon.
Wow,
maybe.
I think I need to record this for my friends because they always say I'm Mr. Negative. I think I sound positive on here with you. It's a good deal for me. All right.
All right.
Good night, Pete.
All right. See you later, Tim. All right. Now, this is going to be the last call of the show, but I haven't talked to this guy in probably 2 years. One reason I haven't talked to him in 2 years, he used to call in all the time. And I told him I would stop taking his calls until he was an adult. Because this is an adult show. We talk in adult ways. And I don't want to be responsible for somebody's underage teenager calling in and saying some of the things that he was saying. So I pretty much banned him from the show until he turned of age. Again, that was 2 years ago. I told him 2 years ago, call back whenever you're old enough to call and have these conversations with me. And I didn't know if he's still alive. By God, he's here. What is up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, what's up, my man?
Look at who it is.
Yep.
You want to tell Pete? You want to tell everybody who you are?
Yeah. So I got a band, but I just wanted to come on here and give Bama fans a little reality check about why they're ranked 10th.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The only reason that Bama is ranked 10th right now is because the committee does not want to have to deal with putting Notre Dame ahead of Miami, even though Miami beat them, and their strength of record comparatively is not that significant to fully override it. So that's the only reason Bama is ranked 10th. Because now, regardless of what happens with the Georgia Tech-Georgia game, they can just stack 2 teams in front of Miami and say, look, we don't have to deal with the Notre Dame-Miami head-to-head because we're gonna put these teams in artificial groups that we just made the hell up. God knows where we pulled it from. We could have pulled it from the homeless streets in California. We could have pulled those groups from California.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
You want to let everybody?
That's the only reason you're ranked 10th. Because if they dared rank you 9th, they'd have to put Notre Dame 10th, and Miami would be 13th, and now they would be close enough. But because they're 4 spots away, regardless of what happens with the Georgia Tech game, they can just put that team also in front of Notre Dame, also in front of Miami.
Yeah.
And then they don't have to worry about it, and they can pretend that they're smart when in reality they're probably dumber than you and me and everybody listening.
Well, they're definitely dumber than me. I don't know about you. I mean, they're definitely dumber than me. That goes without saying.
They're dumber than a stop sign.
What's dumb about stop signs?
Because a brain stopped working. But unlike a stop sign, it actually tells you something.
So their brain stopped working, but unlike a stop sign, the stop sign actually tells you something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
Also, can God please not have Jeremiah Smith, Jordan Marshall, Justice Haynes, and Carnell Tate all playing the Ohio State-Michigan game? Because that would be the weirdest thing ever.
Why?
Because the 2 best players on each team or 2 of the 3 best players are arguably hurt. Although Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs are pretty good too, but.
So what you're saying is that they should rest their best players because they're going to get in the playoffs anyway?
Well,
I'm being serious. I'm not joking. Because this is one of the fears of the expanded playoff is that the conference championships don't matter so much. So what you have is, if a team is guaranteed to get in the playoffs, even if they lose the conference championship game, that they'll rest their players. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the Indiana game would probably matter much more to seeding than Michigan would.
Yeah. But I say no bueno on that.
Also, please get Alabama and Oregon in the first round of the playoffs. Whatever the hell we do, because I want to see how Dan Lanning looks at Kalen DeBoer after he's been whipping up on Dan Lanning.
Well, you better hope that Oregon wins this weekend in order for that to happen.
USC's defense is getting better, but they're still on the Lincoln Riley train a little bit.
Yeah, they could win though.
Without
they could win.
Their defense got hooked on something that made them so bad, and then Dan Lynn has to come in and try to deconstruct everything and actually make them competent.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right, Ball with AC. Good talking to you. It's been a while. I'm glad you're still alive. You never know. I didn't know.
See you, man.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Ball with AC. I really haven't heard from him in 2 years. He used to call in every week. He used to have a real foul mouth too. That's why I kicked him off the show, because I was like, I can't have this 16, 17-year-old kid in here saying some of the stuff he was saying. But now he's of age, so it's okay. But it seems like he's cleaned up his act a little bit. Thank you, Michigan Man 69, for the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, worried about next week. I feel like Ohio State hasn't left first gear, and we're saving everything for next week. Day seems to have a look in his eye since we beat them last year and might have created a monster. Yeah, I don't think you need to create a monster. I think Ohio State is a monster this year.
And like an idiot for the past 5 years, how many years in a row has Michigan beat Ohio State? Every year I bet on Ohio State because I'm like, well, eventually this streak is going to end, and every year I lose. But like a dog that keeps going back to his own shit, I'm going to bet on Ohio State again. I just feel like that they eventually they got to win. So the odds are in my favor. You know. So anyway, all right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in to the call-in show. Had some great calls tonight. Shout out to all the callers. You guys were amazing and fantastic. What is today? Wednesday. My streaming schedule for this weekend is I'm definitely doing the primetime games, so 7 o'clock ish, 7:30 ish. I'll be doing those games, and I'll probably come on for the end of the 3:30 games too. That's it. Clemson plays. Well, here's the thing. Clemson plays at 4:30. They have a weird kickoff time. They're playing Furman, which nobody cares about. Obviously, I'm going to be watching close to around 7:30 or so. I may come on for the second half of that game and then just let it bleed over into the primetime games. So there you have it. Appreciate you. Hit the thumbs up on all that good stuff. And I will see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your night.